Every time it rains in New York City more than a tenth of an inch, uh, a great majority of the water that falls in the street and the water that comes from your home down sinks and is flushed down the toilet ends up not at the sewage treatment facility, but in New York Harbor.
Normally the sewage goes to sewage treatment plants when it's dry and there's plenty of capacity, but when it rains, that system is overloaded and the excess discharges during rainstorms go into the harbor, and there are a whole system of what are known as CSOs, or combined sewer outfalls, that are located all along the shoreline.
Obviously, the sewer infrastructure is not uniform, meaning that there's pinches in the pipe. So if you're one pipe and you're serving a large acreage, and it rains a lot, or maybe you're not such a huge diameter, that's when you get discharged. So what's interesting too is that when it rains, the sewage treatment facilities sometimes aren't actually at capacity, but you're still discharging sewage into the rivers, into the harbor, because the piping doesn't allow you to bring all of that volume into the plants.
This is simply because we live in a city that's been around for a long time, the infrastructure is fairly old, and it's a single system. In some cities in Europe, they actually have separate systems for stormwater and sewage, so they avoid this problem. But of course, it's very difficult and expensive to retrofit a city like that with two systems if it's been built with one in the first place.
Solving that challenge is an especially expensive and difficult one if all you're looking at is the end-of-pipe solution. New York City has, over the last decades, upgraded a lot of its sewage treatment plants already. Now the challenge on the combined sewer overflow issue is looking at essentially the supply side of the equation, the buildings, the streetscapes, and starting to adopt ideas like green buildings, permeable concrete, things that soften our cityscape in a way that holds the water and doesn't allow it to flow into the sewer system.
I think that if you look at it in the here and now, it's a great tragedy, because the largest impairment of New York Harbor is combined sewer overflows. But if you look back over the last 30 years, you realize that the city has made enormous progress in capturing stormwater overflows and treating those overflows.